Ash Games is a gaming and betting software company. It was sold to Playtech, who were the biggest sort of B2B software player in our space. They were very acquisitive, and they bought about 2 or 3, probably 4 good businesses in the UK before they acquired us. And I think that was actually really good and benefited us quite a lot. We ran a proper process. We started thinking, we always thought that was what was going to happen. We started thinking about it properly probably 2 years out before the deal happened. When we went into the process, we were extremely prepared. I'd say it's very important to have all your numbers, all your data room, all your DD and all that kind of thing at your fingertips. It builds confidence throughout the process. If you can answer questions quickly, you'll end up talking to 5 or 6 or a small group of your probably customers / competitors / people in your market that are interested in you. They will all have a different angle and they will all ask you for different information, despite the fact you think you've got everything sorted. So you just need to have it all ready to hand to spit out at whoever's asking what. That process in itself is extremely rewarding, and actually, we spent quite a long time on that, but what happened through the process, we actually got to know all the companies that were interested in us, why we were interested, where we were fitting, what they might do next, and if they didn't buy us, what they might do next, which is hugely helpful for painting the strategic picture and picking a partner. Two serious bidders, well, 3 in our case, but as Neil said, two is very helpful to keep the one on their toes. They're all trying to do a deal after all. But in the end, there was quite an obvious buyer for us. So what happened with us was, due to some strange shareholder complications, we ended up with more of a cash deal. So we did have some structuring, but it wasn't that significant. And it was very trusting from the buyer perspective to do a deal in the way that they did. But you can imagine the goodwill and the confidence that bought them in us, if that makes sense. Once we'd got the deal done and they saw that we hadn't all gone home and sort of left them to it, it was good because we were able to immediately start looking at things that we ought to have been doing, rather than what it said in our earn-out document, which is a plan that you inevitably put together with the corporate finance guys of the acquirer and then doesn't really survive contact with the MD because you get into the operational side of it and you realise actually, there's a bunch of stuff that maybe already doesn't fit, and certainly within a year, whatever you've written down will probably be sort of out of date. So it was, that side of it was good. I'd actually, retrospectively looking back, think it might have helped to have a very short one, because what happened is we got bought, big group, global group, very interesting acquirer. Loads of different faces appear day one going, what's this? It's the new toy, Ash Gaming, how can we get that to fit? We want, how can we get your games on our platform, blah, blah, blah. And you don't know who all the people are, so you're still getting to know who's full of hot air, who really does what they say they're doing, what's commercially worthwhile, et cetera, et cetera. And you do get sort of taken on a bit of a journey by that whole, and it's exciting as well, because you've just done the deal and you're like, great, and it's a rewarding experience meeting all of those people. But actually, perhaps a short commercial agreement that said, allowed you to say, well, actually, that's fine, but I just need to hit my numbers for 9 months, 6 months, whatever it was, would have allowed a little bit more of a sort of, okay, just leave us alone for a little bit before we allow us to find our way into the group, understand who's who and where we can add the most value before we break out of that kind of structure, if that makes sense. I personally think that would have helped us a bit, but I didn't think it made that much difference. And we didn't have the head-banging, year-long, that Apple costs 10 times as much as normal, oh my God, that's not a great state of mind for an entrepreneur to be in. When you're coming through the door every morning and thinking, that's quite a lot of fruit in that fruit bowl, that's cost me, not saying I'm that sort of completely motivated by money, but you'll be doing that, and that's not great. That's very stressful. And so I'd say, what should I say on that? I'd say long earn out, forget it. Short is all that's required. Unless your acquirer is genuinely leaving you alone and getting you to run a standalone business for your P&L within their group, and wants to help you, but you'll just make all the decisions. Short is good because life changes, you know, and things move fast. And you'll want to do projects, and you won't want to spend time rewriting clauses in your own out and going, oh, sorry, I don't want to do that. No. The advisors might disagree with that a little bit, but I think also just trust the relationship. At the end of the day, you're going to be there. You're going to be having a conversation post-deal about what they want you to do and what projects you do want to do, et cetera, and just try to make the earn-out short and simple, and then you can get on with life, I guess. I personally enjoyed it. I had a bit of a moment about 6 months in where I was like, God, you know, I have to talk to loads of people now. This is a bit irritating. Why can't I just do my stuff like I always did? Because there was only like 3 of us in our management team, effectively. And I did kind of go, there's, you know, loads of idiots coming through the door, and I haven't got time for this. And, you know, now I need to produce loads of PowerPoints that I never had to before to communicate all the stuff that I already know in my head. So you get all that stuff. But once you get through all of that, you sort of go, well, actually, I don't mind now having a more collaborative discussion with more people about the decision-making. You understand that the decision-making in a larger organisation is a longer cycle, so you have to talk to more people, and probably you get to the 80%, 75% of the same answers, but you probably got some slightly better answers as well because there's some smart people around to collaborate with. So that's a good, you know, learning curve, I think, for an entrepreneur who's very focused. And I enjoyed that journey. That's certainly one bit of advice that I would give. You know, just embrace that and enjoy that. We got bought by a global business. We went to, you know, 7 different countries we'd never been to sort of visit various bits of the infrastructure. It was incredibly rewarding. We learned loads about, you know, new cultures. We spent a lot of time in Israel, which is a fascinating place for many reasons. And, you know, the team, I spent a lot of the first year, 2 years, just trying to get visibility for people within the team, trying to make sure that people in the group understood who our management team were, what they could contribute, what their skill sets were. And then eventually we appointed an MD, and we sort of, in the 3rd year that I was there, we sort of said, right, you know, I was kind of waving the flag by then going, I'm not going to be here in a year's time, but here's the guy that's going to run the business, and we've already thought about this, and et cetera, et cetera. And they were supportive of that. We had a plan which said, I'm going to continue to be the MD, and he's going to shadow me for 6 months, and then we'll swap over. And then after about a month and a half, he just went, can I just do it now? And I went, yeah, great. Just shut my office door and went, call me if you need me, sort of thing. And then I sat around in my office for the best part of a year, you know, saying, I'm here if somebody wants me to sort of help them with something. But other than that, I'm not really here. Which was also good because that built in some time to kind of wind out a bit. So I didn't sort of hit the end of some sort of big financial agreement and go, I don't know what I'm doing now. I got off the treadmill a bit slowly, so I had time to plan what I wanted to do afterwards.